All right, we are here getting ready to do drafting activity 2.3, where you will be filling in missing views. Only equipment you need for this is a pen and pencil or ruler straight edge. Do use a number 2 pencil with an eraser. That will help you because you're probably going to make some mistakes on this and need to redo it. So here is, make sure you read through the introduction and procedures. It's going to give you some more information, especially know what true size and true shape and how we get that as we look at the 6 sides of the box. So in each of these cases, you're going to be given an isometric drawing up here, and then you need to reproduce the 3 different views. Whether it's the top view or the side view. In this case, it's front view. I'm going to leave this one for you guys to do on your own. I think you guys can kind of figure that one out. So I will start here with number 2 to draw the missing view on this. But before I get started, I need to kind of go over a few things as far as explaining how to actually look at this. It is important when we are looking at these isometric views. So, and you'll remember this is our front view here. So we've got that, and you've got a side view here, and then of course our top view is up here. Now, as we look at this, we kind of have to imagine, well, how is our eyesight in relation to each of these views? And in the case of our front view, I can imagine that here's my eye. I'm looking at that, and I'm looking directly at that view going in straight that way. So when I go to draw this and solve this problem, I should see this shape in here. Notice it's going to be at an angle going this way. I got this goes all the way up at the top, all the way down on that left side. So this edge here is going to relate to the left side of my front view. This, of course, is going to be the bottom side of my front view. Up here will be the top edge of my front view. So, and this here is going to be the right edge of my front view. So I have to kind of think about this and remember it. Now, look for a minute right here at the side view. And as I am looking directly on, basically my eyesight is 90 degrees to that viewing plane. That is the same as my eyeball looking going this way right there on that. So, and you'll see I've got a square that represents this here. So if I wanted to, I could say, well, this matches A. So that goes there. Now, nothing's cut out here, so I'm seeing this rectangle shape over here, but that corresponds to this, because as I'm looking, even though that's farther behind this, as I'm looking straight on that way, it's still there, so that's B. And then up top here, this angle, this actually is at an angle, and we can identify and label that as C, or surface C. So we'll say this is surface A, surface B, surface C, and that's an angle, and it goes all the way up to the top. So I'm not actually seeing this surface here because it's hidden behind this edge. So that gives me a clue here as far as how I'm looking at that. Now, as I go through from the top, I'm looking down this way. Over here on my isometric, that's my eyeball looking straight down that way as well. And you'll see, okay, well, as I look down here, I've got this surface here that I see, and I see that rectangle shape right here is this rectangle shape right there in D. And then I have C here as well. So, and that's C, and that's angled as well. So because these are angled, they are neither true size nor true shape. So because A and B and D are all at 90 degrees, those are both true size and true shape. So I can do that. Now, as I look and I start to get my projection lines. Now remember, as you do this, keep your lines, these are going to be construction lines, so they should be nice and faint. Hardly anybody should be able to see those. So I'm going to project over, and I'm going to project over the box first, just to kind of box this front view in so I get an idea. So I'm going to go from the bottom edge of the side view and do that. Then I'm going to move to the top edge line of the side view. I'm going to project over that way. I'm going to do the same thing over here from my top view. I'm going to go to the left edge line and project all the way down to my front view. Then I'm going to go over to the far right edge line and I'm going to project all the way down here as well with that. So that gives me this box and helps me define that area that's going to be taken up by my front view. Now I don't want to go in and make any of these solid yet because I don't really know for sure exactly which ones are there. I mean, I can kind of guess, but I think I'm better off waiting and doing a few more projection lines here just to make sure. So I'm going to go back now to my side view. We will project over. So from here, so I'll project over that edge. I got another line coming in here, so I'm going to have to project this line over there as well. So that goes those two lines. Now that's everything from there. Now I can just project from my top view. So same thing, I got this line here that needs to be projected. It's going to come in somewhere down here, and I've got this line here that's going to be projected and come in somewhere down there. Now that I've got all of my lines projected, I can start to go back in and fill in the darkened line. So I do see from this that from the very top down on this edge is a solid line. So I can come back here. I know now that this is definitely going to be solid object all the way across there. Darken that in. And here on the bottom edge of the front view, so if I look, so I'm going to come over, and from this point over to that point, which is not here because this is where that comes in, this point right here is where this line comes in. So but from here to there, so I'll go over at that point to there. Now I'm stopping because that's right there. Can I continue over? Well, yes I can, even though this goes back. I know if I were looking at this straight on, it would be as though this line continues right on through at these points as I kind of box that in. So this is going to be solid all the way across the bottom of that view. Now let's think about the right side here, the front view. And as I'm looking, so I start down here at this point, but I go up to this edge here, which again that projects up. So that means I only am going to come from here up to where that projection line is right there. And at the top, so I've got this short space there, so that's going to come back over, and I will move from that line to there. That point comes over. Now the next thing is this inclined plane, and even though it goes, this is all one solid surface, even though that's cut out. So to finish this drawing off, well, I'm just going to connect these dots, and you'll see that that intersects there too, which makes perfect sense. That's what it should do. So again, make sure you're keeping a couple of nice sharp pencils around. So there is that line. The last thing I'm missing is this line right here. So, and that comes in right at that point where that intersection of those lines are. So we'll go ahead and project down from right there. Project that down. There you go. So using these projection lines, this is what this surface in our front view should look like. And as we're looking with our bird's eye view here, we would see, I can say I'll label this surface E, which I get by this trapezoid shape here. I have that shape there. So that is surface E. And here I got this shape there. Again, that matches, so we'll label that as F. So that's F, and of course we see all of those, and we have finished that particular problem. Now, make sure when you do 3, I'm going to leave this one to you. I'm going to talk in the next drawing about what you have to do. This one's going to be a little more challenging because you have to project over and down from the top. And I'll talk about what you have to do with that here on the next drawing. So drawing 4 and drawing 5 brings in some circles and some radiuses and some arcs here that are, don't be scared of them. You're not actually going to draw any of these circles or arcs, because as we project over, you'll find out that they actually look like a square or a rectangle in that other view. And I'm going to leave number 4 for you guys as well. I'm going to demonstrate number 5 here, where we have this weird shape. And like I said, we've got an interesting problem here, because where before I could project over from both of these views, I can't really project the top view over and hit anything. So the easiest of these to do, of course, is if we have and are given the side view and the top view. It's a little bit harder when we're given the front view and one of the other 2 views. But I will go ahead and start out projecting what I do know and kind of trying to box this in. So I'll project light construction line over that way, come up here to the top. Now as I do this, I'm gonna, even though this is a construction line, I'm basically drawing a tangent point over so that'd be a tangent point right where, because I want this line to meet right there where it kind of just touches the top of that curve, and that's the tangent point. So while I'm here, I may as well go ahead and project over some of these other lines, because I don't know too much else what's going on just yet. So I got that in there. Project this one over. So every place I'm going to project over, and then down here I'm going to project here across there as well. Notice how faint the lines are. Now there is one line that I need that's not shown in here, and that's the center line. So we're going to put that in here, and I'll tell you why we need that in a few minutes once we get to that. So I'm just going to kind of rough sketch it in. Now, center line is a long dash, short space, short line, short dash, then another space and a long dash. So going both ways. So short dash, long dash. Get this out. Short dash and a long dash, so that we know that center line. And I'll go ahead and project that over here as well, and that's my center line. So now here's where the problem comes in. I can project over, but as much as I project over, these lines will never intersect with anything down here. So I got to figure out another way to use projection lines. And if you recall, we've talked in class about the 9th line as we're projecting views. So I will go ahead and project up from here. Now, as you recall, we set the 9th line from the upper right hand corner of our front view. And that always works for us when we have equal spacing between views. But I notice here, I'm just going to kind of make a little gauge. So I'm going to take this edge here and I'm going to mark. So I'm going to mark 2 points here. We're going to use this for a transfer measure. So I got one tick mark there and one tick mark there. That is the distance between my front and my side view. Let me place this up here. You'll notice that is not the same distance between my front and my top view. So I can't use this method in that regard. I'm going to have to do something else, and I'll explain here. It's not that difficult. We just need to find a different corner to draw our 45-degree line on. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make a construction line. The handout gives me some points, so I'm going to go ahead and make a construction line from this left edge of my side view, and I'm going to come over here to the bottom edge line of my top, and I'm going to project that over too. All right, now, so before we were using this corner. Now I'm projecting over, I'm going to use this corner. And this point right here is the point that I'm going to draw my ninth line at 45 degrees. So let me eyeball that as close to 45 as I can. Draw that up. Now, I do realize with this handout, you're into your isometric drawing, and that's all right. Go ahead and use that. And now I can project all these points across. Now I'm just going to do it to that 45-degree line. So I'll come over here and I stop. So go on down. Here's my next point. Come on over here to that 45-degree line and stop. My next line is right here. Even though this rectangle goes further, I have a tangency point, and of course this is coming out hiding those holes, but those holes are still there, so I have to project that tangency point over to that 45-degree line as well. Here on this face, we'll project that over to that 45-degree line. And last but not least, this tangent point right here, project that over to that line. So those are those projections. Now I can come back here, and I can go all the way down here. Notice their box was a little bit smaller that they put, so go ahead and I'll project over. So go back to each of these intersection points and project these down. Nice light construction lines. Here's the next point. This point, project that down, and this last point right here, project that down as well. Okay, now I've got my side view boxed in, and I got projection lines from my front view and projection lines coming across and down from my top view, so I can start to take a look. Now, as I fill this in, remember our eyesight, looking at it directly this way, is as though we would be looking at this way. Our line of sight is right here like this. So that's our eyeball looking directly at that. So I can see on this bottom edge, that is solid all the way across over to there. So I'm going to start there with that. So, and I can make this solid now, so we'll darken that in. That's the bottom edge of this. And I can see here on this side, that goes all the way up on both of these there. So, and then back across. So let me come here. I know that this is going to be solid object line as well. And from here to here where that intersects, so this point right here correlates with this point here. But I do notice that that edge goes all the way up to the very top over here. So even though I know that at this point, if I'm looking directly on, that starts to recess and go back into the surface there, but I'm still in a two-dimensional drawing. I'm going to see that as a solid line. So let me go ahead and project that up all the way to the top. There we go. And as I'm looking, since I have nothing else, let's see where this line should come in. So I go from here to there. Well, that's the equivalent of from here to here. So if I come back, I'll notice, all right, well, that's this point here. So notice, follow your projection lines. This goes over and down, and there's my projection line. So now I can make that solid. So this is the top. Now, all we're really drawing in this line that we create here is really the very top tangency point, the highest point possible where that comes in. That's on the line that we just drew right there. All right. Now, I can go down here and we'll follow this through. So, come back over. Notice, there we go. So this intersects, projects over, and it intersects with this point right here. So I know that that is a solid object line. Almost have the outside lines of this part taken care of. This line here, so it's represented from here. So I'll follow this over and down. Well, that's going here. All right, but where does that start? Well, it starts right here. So I know that this is the point there. So this on this bottom edge. So I've got this, and now I'm gonna put this in, but it only goes to there. So that's what this line over here becomes. So we'll go from here over to there. So that's that, and this goes back up. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky. We know we've got that solid line here, and we projected that over to there. So, but this is a circle. So when it comes to here, there, we got something else going on. So where does this kind of fit in? So that's what we got to kind of guess. Now I know that it goes at least from here up to there. I know that. So, because this is where that breaks in, and I know that that line's going from there to there. So, and I know this, I can go ahead and fill that out now, because that's the bottom of that circle goes right there. But this is the trick here. That line does project up to the halfway point. So we're just going to have a line here that kind of goes and stops with nothing else connecting it. So this is going to go right up to here and stop. Because that shows this edge going to here at the center. And again, this would be as though this tangency point on this way, or this tangency point, is right there. So that edge does come up. Now, at this point, as we're looking, if this were the plane, this would be going down farther. But we still have to show that line there. So that is there. And that pretty much finishes off the outside edges of this. Now I've got to concentrate on some of the hidden lines. So I've got this hole here. Let's start right there. So I can project over to there. And that is a hidden line. So I'm going to start by putting the 2 small dashes from both ends. And then I can fill in the middle. Remember, our hidden lines touch the outside edges of what they're there, but we leave them from that point. So there's my hidden lines for that. And I need this center line in here too. So you also see this is why that center line was so important to us before, was figuring out where that line should be. So long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long dash, there for the center. And now I'm still missing these holes, so I got to come back through. So I'll follow those over and down. So this one comes over and down, so there's my hidden line there for that one. And following this over to that line and down, there's my hidden line for there. I also have this center line, so I may as well go ahead and put that in. So there's the center line there. So that completes the side view. Now let's go back. We're still missing a few things here. We're missing these hidden lines. that. So I'm going to go ahead and project these down. Get these hidden lines in for this as well. Just so we got the full drawing completed here. So on each of these points, we got these hidden lines. If I really had to point, I might also go ahead and do some center lines in there. Notice I just messed up, so remember you gotta keep your lines touching on those hidden lines. So, alright, so that is how we solve drawing 5. So you've got these there. Donald Duck says good luck, and email me any questions. Have a Pez if you have them.